the grant awards came out, and instead of winning 4 times over for 4 separate applications, we only won. Hi, so here is a lesson that I learned last year with working for a client on the Ross Service Coordinator grant. So, of all the Ross Service Coordinator grants that we wrote last year, we only had one applicant not win, which was so very disappointing to me because I wanted that 100% success rate to promote and boast about. But unfortunately, we did not win the grant for one applicant. And it is a lesson learned that I would like to share with you because it is great when we share our successes, but we must also share our defeats and where we fell short, and also how we can improve upon next time. Because I am doing my best as a grant writer to show that grant writing is a human occupation. Grant writers are not infallible, we are not flawless, and we should not promote ourselves to be. We write grants because in order for us to be successful, our clients must be successful. So that is definitely our goal, and that is what we work towards. But as humans, we fall short of that event idealistic goal. So I would love to have a 100% successful rate for the Ross grant, but unfortunately, it was not so last year. But this lesson that I learned for the Ross grant, I would like to share with you. So, lesson learned. For the Ross Service Coordinator grant, I worked with a housing authority, and they're a housing authority, and they also have a nonprofit. So the nonprofit can actually apply for the Ross up to 3 times. So the nonprofit as an applicant by itself is extremely flexible. The resident association by itself is really flexible. And if you strategize your application in a way, you can actually end up having multiple applications, and you can get funded multiple times out of the Ross Service Coordinator grant. I promoted that strategy to my client where I stated that you're an organization, but if you just apply as the housing authority, you would only qualify for one service coordinator position. But if you apply as the housing authority and then as the nonprofit, you actually would get three, um, I, you would get four um, service coordinator positions. So she liked that strategy, and we agreed to go after the Ross Service Coordinator grant that way. So the Public Housing Authority applied for one position, and that was one application. The nonprofit applied for 3 positions separately, serving individual resident associations. And so the nonprofit applied for 3 applications, serving a resident association. It's a very, very intricate strategy to implement, but when it works, it's worth it. So what happened was the grant awards came out, and instead of winning 4 times over for 4 separate applications, we only won 3 applications for this client. So one of the nonprofit's application did not make it. Well, in the fine print, it says that you can only have 3 service coordinator per PHA, no matter how you slice and dice it, where You have the PHA applying over here, and the nonprofit, and the RA, and all these things that you're doing. There is only up to three service coordinators per public housing authority. So even though I wanted to have her win the four, but unfortunately, as a housing authority, you only qualify for up to three service coordinator positions. So we learned that even though that strategy worked and it worked for three of the applications, unfortunately, one application did not make it because the housing authority didn't qualify for any more positions, and so that was overlooked. So that was a lesson learned, that it is great to pursue these exciting different strategies to maximize your chances of winning and to also maximize your funding amount, because of the savvy of this strategy of saying to my client, rather than just getting one, because the amount of units that my client has, if it was all lumped under the public housing authority, she would only get one service coordinator position. But by breaking it all out and having the nonprofit serve each resident association and having it divided like that, she ended up with three applications being funded. So she received two times more than she would have received if she had only gone in as a public housing authority. So, though it was a great success, it was also a lesson learned that when you're pursuing these strategies, it's great to pursue these exciting strategies, but just know that it may not all work out the way that you expect it to, but you will learn great lessons from it, and you can apply that in your other applications, because grant writing is layered learning. The more you do, the greater you become, the more you can do. So I just wanted to share that lesson learned with you, and that strategy. That's also a strategy that you could implement in your Ross service coordinator applications. If you see that by yourself, you're only going to qualify for one position, but if you break it out under the different eligible applicant types that are within your same umbrella, you can maximize your chances of getting the award, and getting the award multiple times in the same year. So be strategic when you're going after these funding opportunities. Be strategic. So I wanted to share my lesson learned with you.